Om Gurubhyo Namaha. Father and son discussions. What is our normal discussion at home?
We discuss many things, right from food to maintenance to politics to various things.
But we used to discuss a lot of things. Now everybody is busy doing their own things, so discussions doesn't take place much. But fruitful discussions like that. But unless there is a very serious matter, for instance, when Sanjay came, your brother came, we had a discussion about what can we do with our will and all that matters. And I was also feeling a little not very comfortable, sickly. So I wanted to share after our time what you should do in all discussions, isn't it? Discussions.
So something I have been always thinking about is this idea of legacy, especially in a cultural situation where there is always a sort. Since you spoke about inheritance, so we talk about legacy in a way is also inheritance. The thing is, as you know, my journey, I didn't literally take up the inheritance.
You could have actually,
yes.
But somewhere around your adolescent age,
No, I think it was much past adolescence. I was quite clear. I think I was quite clear what I wanted to do.
No.
But what I have seen in the years that I came back.
As a Bharatanatyam artist, we have given you a good grounding.
Yes.
And you are also recognized by people, and you are getting a lot of engagements also. Sometimes you pass it on to somebody else. You say, oh no, I am not going to be a dancer, let it go to the Narendra or somebody whom you thought at that time. You have passed it on to them. That's in one way, I thought it was very, very, very liberal and very good of you. But in another way, we thought, we are losing a legacy. That is, our lineage should continue. In most of the cases in the musical circle and all that, we see the legacy continuing very well. I don't know why you shouldn't have continued.
I think more than reason of that topic which we have always discussed, I think we'd like to explore what a legacy is. Because is legacy really only that one thing that we call profession or career or what you are known for outside? I feel there are other kind of legacies that me and for that matter any child will carry forward. So I was thinking about this the few years that I have been associated with Bharatakanjali again.
Yes.
Post I think it was 2014-15 that we started. You asked me to do Maunakural. You asked me to revive.
Very recently, couple of years.
Yes. So I walked in at a time when I was not happy with a lot of things happening around us. I mean, I'm saying generally in the Natya field, in the musical field, how things have been, how habits have developed. So I wanted to. What I thought was I was bringing something fresh to the training.
Each generation has a new idea and they have to develop it, which I think we were also open that we left it to.
But going deeper into it, I realized that it wasn't totally different from what you did. Somewhere I was bringing back something that I had experienced at a certain age. In terms of values, in terms of execution, in terms of intention towards a certain kind of perfection. I felt I was after a point. I mean, initially it seemed like, I'm trying to do something different. I'm rebelling. I'm going to do something. But then more and more I saw what was happening. I realized that it wasn't too different from the stand, because finally the standard and the grounding, as you said, was set by you. So whatever exposure I have had in terms of physical values and in terms of emotional values, in terms of cultural values, has been set. I may have had my own set of
past, that is the foundation. Past is the foundation for the present to build a future.
Yes.
So there is an evolutionary process always happening. So we, at a point of time, we had adhered to certain discipline and things like that. And later on, and as we grew, and also things have been progressing, and the institution has been taking off in an international level with a lot of productions and interacting with so many people like Pandit Ji, Vijayadasami, and so many Eastern choreographers and very well-known people and all that. We have also evolved a little bit, and we have started making a lot of altercations in our own presentations and things like that. Even in Bharatanatyam, I brought in a lot of changes, which is much against my own alma mater. So when we started Bharatakalanjali, we really I really wanted to, just like you think, you wanted to have a revelation, changes. At that time in 1968, when we started Bharatakalanjali, I started with a clear vision of bringing a new dimension, new life to the entire Bharatanatyam arena, which happened, and I am very happy, though people may not accept it, but basically, I brought in a lot of change, and it has laid a new path for the younger generations to stride on. You understand that?
Yes.
You accept that?
Yes,
like that,
definitely.
You have also have some ideas to break into something else. Like when you did on your own the Mauna Choral, which was a very successful program. We presented in a completely different way of Bharatakalanjali, our legacy. It was not legacy, but you made your own legacy. So, and later on you did the Gandhi, and it had a new dimension. And which also some people, of course, criticized, this is not like from Dhananjayans style, this is something modern. Say modern can be anything. When I started the new thing, the Nrityopaharam and all that, they said it's a modern thing. But later on it has got amalgamated with the trend, the legacy, or whatever you call it, the evolutionary process. And now everybody is doing a lot of new things.
I think you, when you started, you were at a period when there was not much happening, but a lot needed to be done. There were very few people of your caliber, and there were very few people trained the way you were trained, and there were very few people, and with all lack of media and social media and other things, the work that you were cut out to do, I felt you had a different arena. It felt larger, where you could innovate. Whereas today everybody is innovating. Today every next production, it's like almost you have to innovate. You force yourself to innovate.
See, today's world, this so-called innovate, it doesn't stand long. But when we did, it's still continuing. The Natyanjali, which we composed in 1968, but still it is relevant and people are following.
So then I think we're getting into a very very nice zone where we talk about innovation, because I feel when we talk about legacy, that innovation is something that keeps legacy relevant to the times. Like you've said, Natya Shastra, quotes that
Yes, yeah.
we need to be relevant to the times.
Yes. Akritya, Cheshtya, Chinnaya, Jatya, Vijnaya, Vastutaga, Swayam Vitarkya Kartavyam. Each individual, that particular period, what is needed, you have to do it. Swayam Vitarkya. Everybody has to contribute to their own ideas.
Yes.
That's what's happening in the creative art
Yes.
field.
But my only difference that I see in innovation, the way it happened in your generation, and the innovation that is happening now I feel there seems to be a compulsion to innovate. That in order to stand out, in order to be seen, one wants to innovate. Whereas I felt there was a different nature to the innovation that when you were working, it was not based on what you saw outside.
Trend is now everybody wants to change every day. They want to something,
Yes.
but that is not my idea. It should not be the idea. I think if you put one thing, if you brought in something new, innovation, it should sustain. It should go a long way.
So, what is the source of innovation? Why does one need to innovate?
I think it is a more.
No, when you innovated, what was the source?
That was I've been feeling a static situation at that point.
Yes.
Because Bharatanatyam was just revived and Kalakshetra has been doing particular style and they adhere to only particular things. Kalakshetra has been. So, being in Kalakshetra and trained in Kalakshetra very intensively, like Gurukulam and there, and of course we were under a banyan tree. That is, Rukmini Devi is under the banyan trees, nothing can survive. So until we came out of that banyan shade, we were confined to whatever is there, we have been doing. But even during that bit, as a human creative nature, I'm also used to write a lot of poetries and all that. So that poetical inclination was in me. Something has to be changed because the same Malaribu, same the Tiswaram, same pattern. It has been there for a long time. Then at that point of period, 1968, when Bharata started, I thought people are getting a little bored of that old system, and those very great artists, they didn't want to make any changes because they were afraid of criticism. They were dancing for the critics, and also that particular time Rasikas. When anything that they change, they think my connoisseur will. But what I felt was I wanted a criticism. I was a little, I should say, a revolutionary in that way, a rebel. I didn't mind the criticism, and I did Natyanjali as a new capsule item for Kalarippayattu and Jadiswaram and Shabdam. It's a 3-in-1. And there was criticism, and from my alma mater itself, I faced a lot of criticism. Oh, Dhananjayans has changed the Kalakshetra style. He is doing something Natyanjali and Nrityopaharam. And Nrityopaharam, the Athana Nrityopaharam which I created, it is something very totally different from the usual Varnam. I brought in a lot of, I don't call it innovations, that was some sort of creativity. Swaras, I incorporated Abhinaya for Swaras. So, big critics blatantly in the press, and I took it very seriously, and I was not unhappy about it, I was happy about it. That was my nature.
Yes.
But all the people will not be able to, all the dancers would not have faced such criticism and take it lightly. And for instance, one of our very great critic like V.A.K. Rangarao, always, he was very, very bold. Unlike many critics of today, they are very diplomatically right nowadays. Those days, papers were also, they allowed freedom for the critics to critique openly and say what is good, what is not right. But today, even papers don't want to say adverse comments on certain things. So, V.A.K. Rangarao, taking for V.A.K. Rangarao or Subdu. Rangarao was a big critic, he became very close friend of us. a critic who has been blatantly criticizing our work and all that, and finally accepted us. And then whatever I did, when I tried to explain to them, they accepted, yes, oh, you are right. For instance, Subbudu, when I did Abhinaya pieces, some certain Abhinaya pieces in Swara, in the Swara. Swara itself, I incorporated stories. So he was, Dhananjayan is doing Abhinaya for Swaras. But later on, when I explained to him, this is what I did. This is Nritya. It has a correct connotation and a correct explanation in the Natya Shastra or whatever, the theory itself. And doing Nritta with Abhinaya, that is called Nritya. I communicate. If I am doing a pandatam, the musical accompaniment is with the musical notes, but the expression is there. So immediately people liked. For instance, at that time, I'll tell you, some of the very fresh connoisseurs who were bored with the old items of Sambhoga Singaram and Vipravlaga Singar, like Sakiye Inda Velayil Nyavarachinuva Illena Poi Vadi and all those things, they were a little bored about all that. But when I did this Nrityopakaram in Natana, and with new ideas, communicating, people said, this particular item can be enjoyed by an 8-year-old child and an 80-years-old connoisseur. I got that comment. And of course, that item has lived, even still it is living. All the 50 years, it has sustained its value.
It's a classic.
Yes.
But it is a classic that was an innovation at its time. So I'm looking for that. I'm looking for, I'm sure there is no formula for it, but I feel there is an intention, your intention to do something, the innovation should not even be innovation. As you said, so for example, when you innovated,
yes, you're right.
You did something new,
yes,
but it wasn't something new.
But I also didn't say it is an innovation.
Yeah. So it was completely natural to you.
Yes.
For example,
it's an evolutionary process that it created. Yes.
Coming to Gandhi. I remember the first 2 rows of people who sat. The first 2 rows, who sit normally. They didn't seem to understand what was happening. And these are people who are well learned and they know, they've been in the system.
Even I was not like that.
Yes. But after that, the next rows at the back, there was a lot of feedback. There was a lot of, I got a lot of WhatsApp messages, a lot of emails of people you can't call them lay audience, but they were
new generation.
Yeah, they a lot of young people actually. In fact, a lot of young dancers called me and they said they were very disturbed and something shook them. And I had done nothing new because you saw there was Tatetaha, everything was, what was new? There was Angika Abhinaya, there was Vachika Abhinaya, there was Ahari Abhinaya, there was Satvika Abhinaya. Okay, I didn't use regular Carnatic music. I had a Hindustani singer, I had a Pakhawach, and then we had Sarangi. But that is still within what we call as classical. So there was nothing jarringly different about it. That I didn't bring something completely alien to what we are used to. But yet there seems to be a resistance in certain communities, in certain pockets to. For example, even Amma, when she was doing the Alarippu, the first few rehearsals, she was wondering what is happening, But after the third and fourth,
Alarippu has to do with Gandhi.
So that is what I thought I should bring into this, because I felt the Ahari Abhinaya in the Alarippu, the posture that I used was very appropriate for showing the identity that Gandhi established through the stick. And the concept that I brought in there was about division, about how we divide a country then we divide from another country, then we divide the country into other things, and then finally we draw a line around us saying, you are you, I am me. You don't cross this air, I will not cross your air. So that is the idea that I
You
brought
had
to Alarico.
all that ideas in a what you call, I can't say it abstract form, but you had your clear idea. But to communicate that idea of
Yes.
that abstract form of, it's not abstract, but it is still for the people who have been groomed into the...
But why is it that the people who are not groomed, why is it they experience
I think that generation, new generation is little more open-mindedness, whereas...
Open-mindedness?
Yes.
Okay. Or do you think they are expecting...
Because they are also, they have exposed to so many things in the world today.
Yes.
But in our generation, we have not even seen television, we have not seen nothing. But in our case, we have seen a lot of, because we have been traveling, we've seen all the other dances, but mostly we have seen the classical idioms like ballet and opera theatres, and which is also very...
You yourself sent me to a 10-day contemporary dance workshop in Delhi.
Yes, correct.
I think that...
Sangeeta Academies.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to have you to have in a different... I wanted, because I couldn't take it, but I couldn't do that at that time. We were very busy and all that. And in the next generation, I allowed the next generations to grow little more than what we have established.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why I said.
I think, I think it is around that time. Then I went to Spain. You sent me to Spain to do the thing with flamenco and...
yes, glorious productions.
And it is after that I decided to leave dance. So if you look, so I think there is something to do with the exposure that I got, and with what was happening around me here. Of course, that is one part of it. But I think also my draw to photography was...
after that production you did in Spain, you had a wonderful big offer from one of the greatest choreographers in the Europe.
Which I said no to.
Which you said no. Why?
Because my passion was photography at that time. It is still.
I think that would have given, I feel, but as a father,
you came with nothing to this.
And that is
yes.
No.
But I had everything.
You had everything. That also this opportunity which you got, which nobody has got. Some choreographer came all the way from Spain or Italy. He came here
I think Italy, Rome.
To convince you to come in, because he was impressed with your program, with Gloria's production. So he came all the way only to invite you.
See, this is where our lives are different. This is where our lives are completely different. You came with nothing, right?
Yes.
And you established big time. Whatever you had, or rather whatever you didn't have, you provided for us.
Yes.
Now, where are we starting from? We are not starting from nothing.
Yeah, you are starting
we are starting from a good level. So what I have seen, what I have observed around me also, for people who start at a comfortable level, I feel the mind, the idea of ambition or the idea of limelight is very different. So I don't think, I think because I saw everything at a young age, you didn't see everything at a young age.
I was very ambitious.
Yeah, but you started seeing everything only by 20s.
Ambitious attitude came also from Kalakshetra. Only after coming to Kalakshetra and getting trained, then I thought, seeing Rukmini Devi's success and some of the other...
So for me it was the other way.
Yes.
Which means I saw you in both of you in your peak, and I was part of that also. And I was like, okay, I have seen this, now what? So I think, always people think there's only one way of living.
That's a good grounding for you. You should have developed.
Yes, but how about spiritually? I feel my growth now is different. My growth is not towards having 1,000 audience seeing me or 2,000 audience seeing me. I think my growth is, I'm happy if I'm able to, you know what happened when we were doing Gandhi? We were doing a rehearsal in Pondicherry. Just a normal dress rehearsal we were doing. It so happened that that place, the people who are the staff who help cleaning and all that, they were standing there. And that place hosted many programs. I was operating the audio, I was watching, and these people didn't move from there. And they kept watching. I was like, I mean, there's something, I couldn't figure it out, because at one level you have connoisseurs and initiated people who didn't understand what is happening. Then there's what we call simple people who don't have so much exposure, or whom we think don't have any exposure, and sitting and watching this abstract piece that you said abstract. After that, they came and they said, ஐயா நாங்கள் வந்து இங்கே நிறைய பண்ணுறாங்க எல்லாம் போர் அடிக்கும், பட் உங்களது வந்து ரொம்ப வித்தியாசமாக இருந்தது, அதனால நாங்கள் உட்காந்து பார்த்தோம்.
வித்தியாசமாக இருந்தது. So they wanted a change.
So they are looking for that change.
Yes. That is it. Okay.
So I'm saying it, and it is not connected in any way with that forceful innovation. You're not doing something totally off. So I feel innovation, as you did, maybe we should not even talk of that word innovation.
Yes, it is an evolutionary change that has taken place. We don't need to call it innovation or something like that. It is an evolutionary change that automatically happens within every creative artist. That's what happened. Probably because you said you are not inclined to the larger kind of audience, or you are only with certain area of discipline you are working. I think probably you are the kind of education that we have put you in.
Yes.
That is the KFI, Krishnamurti Foundation, and their philosophy is also different. So you have been engrilled with that kind of attitude. Though we also grew in Theosophical Society and listening to Krishnamurti, those philosophy, and of course, but our philosophy developed through Rukmini Devi's influence, because she was very creative. He is also very, and like you said, she wanted people to enjoy, and she wanted to larger crowd and all that, to cater to the crowd, but with the totally an aesthetic perception of Bharatiyatva. That's what she did. That's why she was able to create such a wonderful institution, one of its kind in the world, this Kalakshetra. So then we put you there because we wanted you to grow in the same atmosphere as we have grown.
But it was very different.
It was different. Yes, that is the.
Yes. In fact,
we have moved away from
Krishnamurti very, very strongly questions the idea of goal setting, of ambition, because somewhere he's talked about this idea that it creates a sense of it starts creating a tension and a division between oneself when you start having a certain kind of ambition to do so much, and then you have to do this much, and it starts creating a lot of misery and sorrow within when you're not able to work towards it. So as we were talking about the fact of ambition,
Krishnamurti's philosophy.
He never preached anything. He never said, this is what you should do. You should think about it. But coming back to legacy, I feel legacy is not just continuing the same action or the same profession or the same.
It's true.
And there are other things to legacy too?
Yes, of course. That legacy, I have not been using that word legacy and the Guru Parampara, that is Guru Shishya Parampara. I didn't have any Natya background, but I have now, since you have come back to you are also helping us now, that's a Parampara. In the other, some of our colleagues, they have a Parampara already created. They are coming from a family of artists, and their child and the grandchild, everybody is following, and some of them are making it to a good level. And of course, if you have taken up from there, after your Rangetam, taken up our system, come in within our fold, you would have reached somewhere else, like what they celebrated Bharatanatyam. You would definitely, because you always felt that you had the capacity, you have the musical capacity, you have the aesthetic capacity is there, and everything you understood, and you did also very well. We trained you very well. So you had the creativity and all that. But we can't say now we have left a parampara legacy with you, unless you take it up seriously and make it perform and get international fame and all that.
That is where I beg to differ, which is why I was saying, what is legacy? Because does legacy have to be that, or does legacy...
That is what people say.
That is a general thing.
General
Yes,
belief is
yes.
legacy. Once,
what about values? What about being uncorrupt? What about being straightforward? What about having a certain discipline and a certain way of living? A certain...
that is all there. We have adhered to all those things, and then we have reached a level.
So isn't that also part of your legacy? That we hope to take over.
Our legacy. You have to take our legacy. Okay, that is the legacy.
Yeah.
So the discipline discipline, devotion, and dedication, that is our character and our traits. That, of course, that legacy is there. But still, as a professional, then there's something different. You have to, I think,
but today's
not compromise, but without compromising, we have to continue. That's what we did in our style of Bharatanatyam. But now, Dhananjayan styles have come. People look at us, many connoisseurs look at us as something little different from Kalakshetra. They still say Kalakshetra background, but there are people, connoisseurs all over the world, and I say, you have a different kind of change from the legacy of Kalakshetra legacy. That is it. So I had brought in a new life to as Rukmini Devi brought a new life to the Sadir Kacheris and made it into good Bharatanatyam. And from Bharatanatyam now we have contributed something to make it more universal. Kalakshetra, when we were all there, it was confined to the four walls of Kalakshetra. It never went out. It was there. The festival was there, training, everything was, and we were confined to that. And people came there. We never went out to perform at all. It was everything happened in.
No, but that was a time. The time was like that.
We have, of course, also apart from talking about the legacy, art legacy, and all that, family also. We had a lot of advantages. That both me, your mother, Shanta, is also a great dancer, a great creator, and all that. And I am also. So you have the parental foundation that both of us are there. And then what happens to the next generation? That your son, Samartha, and he has completely gone into a different. I don't know how it happened. He's a horse rider. His passion is horse riding. Which, of course, we were thinking that he would have been.
No, he started one day. I don't know if you remember. He was about 8 years old. We didn't force him into dancing. Nothing. We just left him alone.
But he was dancing very well.
That's what. So that day, that 8 years old, when he was 8 years old, he suddenly some little form passed us with a veshti and a banyan. He's like, who's this Pata? It was Samartha. By himself, he wanted to start. And he came. He was 2 years. He was here for dance class. Then suddenly something changed in him. And he decided this is not something he wants to do. But the other day I was asking him to try some adavu, and he did it like he's been doing it before. So there is in something inherent genetically, there is something naturally there. But should one pursue just because one has that capacity, or they have to go in search of some?
See, as grandparents, we always think our grandchild or child should be a prodigy. That's my ambition is like that. So he has that talent, complete musical talent. When Shanta taught him some bhajans and all, he immediately picked up and sang it. But he is not continuously doing it. But only continuous thing that he does is cosmic.
He is doing it like you did your Kalakshetra, like I did my photography.
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
But I find, as you are the one again who encouraged me in photography.
Yes.
Because you said photography is an art.
I've always felt it is. I used to take a lot of photographs. I was so fascinated by photography, and Kalakshetra had a photography department, and those photographs taken by the big stalwart Achiepan, who used to be there in our times, the black and white photographs. I was to go to the black and the lab, the dark room, and see how it is developed and all this. So that's how I got my interest. So when I got my first camera, Canon camera, automatic camera, and then I started taking a lot of photographs, and for all our engagements of our students, I used to take the camera. In fact, when I did the photograph of Catherine Kunjaraman for her Arangetam, we conducted her Arangetam, and the photos that the USIS wanted professional photographers, and then I gave my photographs, and there are some other big time photographers taken some pictures, but the printing, the span printing, and I think that they chose my photographs to be incorporated in their invitation and brochure and all that. I was surprised because there are other photographers, American photographers taking Bharatanatyam, but they took my simple, I didn't have a background also. So my photographs were chosen, so I was very proud that I had some, only probably that spark in me must have.
There you go.
Got
Yeah. So yes, so we don't know what jumps in what way.
What happens? But I wish Samartha come as Samartha, you understand? Come back to at least sing some songs.
That he will do.
He's
into rap, so he likes rap. But he picks up shlokas very, very well.
He should, yes.
Of course, with peer group having a different viewpoint, it's very tough today because exposure is so much, and he sees different kinds of music around him.
We have arguments.
Of course you will.
We are always
of course you will. You need to have arguments.
When he is watching only the English movies, I get a little bogged.
Yes. There are some very good English movies though, and there are
we also used to watch nice classic English movies. Today's movies are not so that well. They are technically well off. But yesterday I was listening to some old time cinema actors in the YouTube. They said today's there is no acting, there is only technicalities. We used to act. That's that lady, great lady.
Okay, I wish to differ because things are changing now. If you look at the trend, I
want to add here. See, the technicality when there is a fight scene, such a fight. One kutte, it flies and goes and.
Those days are over. Now
that is
now
it is
filmmaking is changing now.
Yes, but who
like the
people
audience?
like it?
No, I mean some people like it. Not everybody doesn't like everything. Now the audiences are different. Earlier we used to have fewer types of audiences. Now you have various kinds of audiences, and there are various kinds of films or arts catering to various kinds of audiences. So basically your target audience is becoming
not reality. They say film is very realistically
that film use Drik Sakshiyam. Tundi Muttalam Driksakshiyam. I showed you that film. That Tundi Mudalu Driksakshiyam in Malayalam.
Yes.
It was amazing. I mean, the acting was, and even the filmmaking process.
That was correct. Yeah, some of them are very good, no doubt.
So now, like you said, innovation. There was a time when technique was always the main thing. Like sometimes I feel in Bharatanatyam today is a lot of emphasis on technique. People will see it after time.
They was only once or twice, then they close it. But
yes.
when we do now, if I do Deva Karunyam, there are people are watching it still very with awe.
So the art in itself has a lot of. It's like fermentation. Things keep coming and going, keep dying and living, and it's a very interesting.
Today's movie.
You have not seen all the movies.
Some of them it is
so
good.
That's why I'm saying there is
no storyline. It's always incidents and the editing is so absurd. We are very confusing.
But then I think you should watch a different selection. You should watch a different selection of movies.
Yes.
For example, the one Amma acted in Rajiv Menon's movie. It is a beautifully positioned movie because it reached out to a certain audience.
Sarvam Talam. Yes, it was a very good movie. It is very good movie, very well conceived.
So it has a classicism to it.
Yeah,
but
I like that kind of.
It didn't say that we are classical, you are not classical. It opened out the musical field into, or even the filmmaking field into a large. It invited people. To me, it reminds me of that movie Sindhu Bhairavi, where she talks to during the program she talks to that person and says, why don't you make this music a little more accessible?
Janaranchakam.
Well, that's one word, maybe that's one part of it. But she says, make it more accessible and invite people. Don't push people away, but invite people. I felt Sarvam Talamam had the quality to it.
Yes.
So I think an idea of being inclusive needs to be created for people.
Okay, yes, I can always say it's not my cup of tea. Today's some of the movies, some of them are very good. Like Sarvan Salamayam, I liked it.
There are different kinds of movies.
Yes.
They're right from the complete nonsense that you were talking about to really realistic and affecting movies. There are different kinds now.
It should.
Yes.
It should affect the society. Society should be able to take something out of it. That's what this is a Drishya Kavyam. Cinema or Natyam is Vishwa Kavyam. Drishya Kavyam, it's over see and they learn a lot. Education, enlightenment and entertainment.
Also, I feel more in today's times, I feel as the Tamil word, they say Thundukol. I think art has to be
instigating.
Yes, not just instigate, but it has to ask people to question things. It has to ask people to question what are we doing in society, and it needs to lead to constantly. I think we need to reinvent ourselves, and we need to have revolution constantly in order to keep
good revolution.
Yes, revolution is meant to bring the down up, the up down. And so that living will be a little more engaging for people rather than isolating people and dividing people.
You have to bring everybody together.
Yes.
So everybody should come together and the ideas must come together for the betterment of the feeling, and the audience also should be happy about whatever they are seeing and experiencing.
I feel more than happy they have to be engaged with it.
Engaged, okay. Yes. Thank you. Good discussion.
Yes.
We never had this kind of father-son.
We do, but normally it can go in different directions. Yes.
They like what happened in the Vodafone advertisement. While we are discussing on the dining table,
yes,
this all came out, and then this became a big success in the advertisement world. The Vodafone.
Yes.
You started it.
Somebody asked me about it. I said, yes, you are.
How things happens. We never thought it will be such a hit in the market. Even today I had a call from Bombay and they said, can I talk to the Vodafone couple? I said, Vodafone couple, yes, yeah, I am Dhananjayan talking. so they know some sort of...
Yeah, yes, advertising and mass media has a very different reach.
Okay.
Anyway. Good, thank you. Thank you for listening. I hope it was engaging. And this was just an honest conversation between father and son. We agree on some things, we disagree on some things, but that keeps us going. Thank you.